Routines and to-do lists, to have or not to have, that is the question that I will be answering here on this vlog today. If you're new here, I'm Carrie, I'm a mindfulness teacher, and on these vlogs, these Carrie's Cracks, is me showing you I'm doing the work too. I'm walking the walk with my mindfulness tools, and I'm joining the path with you. So, routines and to-do lists. I want to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly with it all, really. It's something I've struggled with a lot, and I feel like I'm just getting the right balance. So I want to talk about the pros and cons, and then how to balance these routines and to-do lists, especially in this day and age where we are so busy, and that's probably why we all, or a lot of us, do use to-do lists and routines. So let's delve into it, shall we? So let's start with the cons. Sorry, every time I come to video, I'm fine before I hit play. Excuse me. Right. So the negative, the cons, you know, if you don't live in routines and to-do lists, what's your life like? So you can be quite, you know, you could say the opposite of being focused is aloof, isn't it? If you don't have a routine or a to-do list, then life just rolls on. And yes, that might sound good. There might not be a problem with that, but where's your direction in life? You know, I would say those people who are not conscious of their lives, not mindful, would just let their lives go by with no direction, no purpose, no meaning. I just get up, do the thing. You're in autopilot. I've done a video on about autopilot. So, what's wrong with that? Well, nothing if that's how you want to live your life. But the thing is, the regrets of the dying, they speak a lot about regrets of our life, and regrets of not doing things. You know, often we regret the things we haven't done rather than the things we have done. And by not being mindful of your life and how it's going throughout your life, you could likely end up like that, where you're looking back at your life and you're regretting the things you didn't do. So that's the bigger picture. But if we don't, we might forget things. You know, if we don't have a to-do list, we might forget things. Things might get missed, not get done. And that's really why I got so heavily involved in them. I mean, one reason for getting into routine is kids. Kids need a routine. Kids do like routine. And especially if you have neurodivergent kids, they particularly like routine. So if you go off routine, it becomes a problem. But for me, at the time, you know, I was working away. No, my husband was working away, and I was at home with the kids, home editing all the time. Everything, and this isn't victim mentality, but everything did fall on me. So I appreciate the single parents out there and how hard it is. And you get to a certain age, you add in perimenopause, and you get the brain fog, and you just forget things. So the lists start, and they start adding up and mounting up and adding on and on and on, and till you live in them. And that's what happened to me. So I was living in to-do lists every day. I mean, I still do it. I'll come to that at the end, but I was living in them. I would write them every day. I would be ticking them off, and I would only feel a sense of achievement if that list was ticked off. And if it wasn't, I would begrudgingly put it on to the next day and feel like a bit of a failure. Has anyone else, have you felt like that, you know, where you lived in to-do lists and you felt like that lack of sense of failure if you didn't achieve them, and a sense of achievement if you did? And that's no way to live, and that's certainly not mindful, because what are you missing in the middle of doing the to-do lists? Doing mode, when we really are and should be, I don't like to say should, but We are human beings. We should be in being mode. So I noticed this being mindful, and it's not good. It wasn't a good place to be. I felt it. I felt the disconnection. I felt like I wasn't present and conscious. And life is so much better when it is. When you're not on autopilot, when you're not just into routines and to-do lists, when you do open your field a little bit more and look outside the box and look outside the to-do list. And could you have a sense of achievement if you just ticked one box? Could you have a sense of achievement after every box you tick instead of moving on to the next one? So, and you're better able, so when you're conscious and you're realizing that there's something in your life that's not working out well, you learn to be conscious of what your life is like at the moment and what you don't want in it and what you do want in it. And so you start to think about your habits and what you want to bring in and let go of. And to do that is a routine, because basically what we do in our brains, we like things to be of a habit. We like things to be habitual, so we can then sort of switch off, because then our consciousness is alert for danger, the ego, right? That's what it's all about. So when we can be aware of the things we want to change, we can then start to implement some routines and maybe lists of to-do lists within the routines of how we want to live our life. But we need the routine to be able to do that. We need to know what we're doing when we're doing it to start a habit. Otherwise we fall off straight away. We fall off that wagon straight away. And we need to know we need to put something in place when we do fall off, because inevitably we will. You know, you start to walk, you fall down a lot of times before you get it. So having a routine, having some to-do lists maybe, is what we need to change the bad habits to good, to live the life we want, to live consciously, to live healthy, to live in joy and peace. So what do you need to bring in to your life to do that? So there might be an element of self-care. What self-care can you bring in, and how often do you want to bring it in? That becomes your routine. So you might do meditation on a morning, you might do it at night, you might do it at both. You might do some exercise morning, night, or both. Who knows what kind of different form of exercise. Maybe yoga in the morning and some cardio at night, or vice versa. Whatever works for you, whatever it is you feel that you will benefit from because you're consciously aware of it now that you want to bring that into your life and to fit it into your life, you're going to put it into your routines. Now, I did that. Being on my own, I had to do that even more. So my full day was a list of to-dos. I literally lived in to-do lists to get it all done and to make sure I had self-care, because there was only me. And if I went down, it would not be good, you know, having to get hubby back from work and all that. So I had to look after me. So I put self-care right at the top. And I made sure I got up early. I got up at like 5:30 to meditate, exercise, and journal if I was journaling. And I'd put them into a routine. And I would see a bit of failure. I'd feel a bit of failure, I'll be honest, if I didn't do them. But the biggest thing I noticed was how the self-care flipped. Now you think self-care, you think that's a positive thing, that's a good thing you're going to bring into your life. But actually, for me, it swung the other way. It became detrimental to everybody else. I was pushing people away for my self-care routines. And it became a hindrance. I could notice myself physically pushing people away, saying, no, this is my time. Now, there's a difference between having some boundaries and everybody listening to those boundaries is another thing, right? But it's another thing to literally be pushing people away, saying, no, this comes first every time. You know, the self-care had to come first every time. I think that's unhealthy too. And I was feeling it. I was like, this isn't who I want to be and how I want to be, pushing people away. That's not what I'm about. That's not my values. So it became out of balance, even though I was thinking I was doing the right thing. And it played with it messed with my head for a bit, because I was like, you know, how can having self-care feel so wrong? And it did. So routines and to-do lists can take you way out of balance in either direction. And it's about bringing it back. So it's not bad to have routines and to-do lists, but it's about bringing it back. So having some flexibility about the situation or the people. So there'd be some mornings when the kids would wake up early, or I'd wake up late and go down still before everybody got up, but then the kids would be up half an hour later and I wouldn't have got what I wanted done, and I'd feel frustration. And it's okay to feel that. It's okay to feel these bad emotions, right? So it's to have the flexibility. How do you work around that then? Have flexibility. Okay, if I've only had half an hour of something in the morning, I've had half an hour. It's okay. That's beyond my control. I can't control when my kids wake up. And situations, you know, so that's a situation and a people thing. But, you know, you're not well and you can't do these things. What are you going to do? What do you get from beating yourself up about it? Or if you're just too tired? You know, I'm learning in this perimenopause and my cycles that for close to 2 weeks, I'm not good, you know, and pushing through. Sometimes, yeah, I get it. There isn't an option but to push through, but sometimes there is, and you don't have to. Or can you work, if that's the thing, can you work around your cycle so you're doing the heavy stuff when you're more able and the not so heavy stuff when you're less able? And heavy stuff, I'm talking mental, you know, needing the cognition there so that you're working with that brain fog. And that's what I've learned to do. I've learned to be flexible around situations and people and not beat myself up if I don't get these routines done or the to-do list ticked off. There's a caveat, because even within the balance, there's a balance, right? So if you sleep in a couple of days, you're too tired, you don't do the night thing or the morning thing, that's fine. But when that becomes a habit and you're getting back into your old ways without the routine, without the routines that you know are good for you, then that becomes a problem, and you need to hold yourself accountable or get an accountability buddy, right? Have someone where they can be accountable to you, or you can be accountable to them, and they can help you. Because if it happens once, twice, 3 times, maybe any more than that, and we start to fall down again. So we need to have the balance where we're still holding accountability for ourselves to do these routines and having these to-do lists, where it's good for us to have them. But if it doesn't happen and it's out of our control, we can have the flexibility to let it go. And make some fun in your routines, in your to-do lists, and have the joy of ticking a fun thing off your to-do list. Don't let it all be about the chores and the things you have to do. Put the things you want to do in there as well. And that's been a game changer for me. Really has. You know, I've learned within my routines now that I want to get my hard stuff done early on in the day and then have my rest and fun in the afternoon. And I've sat with this and been curious about it. Is it because of a deserving thing? I feel that I deserve it then. And it's not that, because I've done it the other way around. I've done it where I've had rest and then had to do the work after. And it just doesn't feel right. It's not about deserving. It just doesn't feel right. I can't fully relax. And it's harder for me to get up after I've relaxed and do the thing. So I prefer to do the thing and then relax fully and be fully present with the activities and my family and my friends. So what does routines and to-do lists look like for you? Are they out of balance? Do you not have any and need a little bit in your life? Do you have too much and need to let go a little bit? Where's the flexibility? What's your mindset when it doesn't go to plan? What are the words you're telling yourself? Because again, like I say in this channel, it all filters down to your kids. So if we live in to-do lists, your kids are going to end up with that mentality too. And is it healthy? It's all very well, yes, have a to-do list, but don't let it take over your life. Same as routines. I mean, it's harder with neurodivergence, I get that. But if the routine doesn't go to plan, have you got a plan B? Have you got a backup plan if it doesn't go to plan? Because you really do need routines. So it's about knowing you, know thyself, know you, get you, understand you, and then communicate you to the people that are around you and tell them what helps in these situations with routines and to-do lists and what doesn't. And it'll really make a difference to the way family life is. And I hope that helps. That's what I've got for you. Thanks for watching. Much love. Bye for now.